Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Front Page, a program brought to you by Q Community College for the fall 2018 semester. We are broadcast on Spectrum, Verizon, Fios, the Auburn Regional Media Access, better known as ARMA, as well as Win 89.1, the college's radio station. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. If you've been to any outdoor event this year, whether it has been ball games at Falcon Park, Art in the Park at Hoops Park, or Major Palooza or Tomato Fest downtown, there's a likelihood that you have been entertained by our next guest. A little over 10 years ago, Perform for Purpose was founded to allow young musicians an outlet to play and improve their craft, as well as to participate in community service activities. Since then, they have held hundreds of concerts and helped this community raise over $600,000. In the last 2 years, it has performed for at least 50,000 people locally. Think about that, 50,000 people. We are delighted to have in our studio its founder, James Vanarsdale, and three of their performers, Michael Mack, Ciras, who is joining us, as well as Juliana GRANTZ, who plays piano and does vocals, Jack Zizza, who also plays the drums. We'll be talking about their local efforts and for the show. So first of all, welcome.
Thanks so much for having us.
No, yeah. I'd love to have you. I think I've heard you most likely a dozen times this year, which you are everywhere. So it's terrific to have you. You have been busy. Yeah. So for those who don't know, because they hear your music, but they may not see the signage or may not see the shirts, what's Perform for Purpose?
Well, we're a collection of youth that serve the community with our talent and our arts, and we look for opportunities where we can provide entertainment and help causes that are out there that need entertainment.
So you started about 10 years ago at Burritt's in Wheatsport, which is no longer there, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately.
But what did you do?
Well, I had some guitar students at the time who were in school with a young man who was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And the community, this great community that we live in, we're all kind of rallying and holding benefits and trying to raise funds to help him get treatment. And my kids were in middle school at the time and said, hey, Mr. V, we'd like to do a concert or something like that. So I happened to gig out at Burritt's regularly, so we talked to them and they hosted our first event. It was just a blast.
And it kind of evolved
yeah,
from there?
It was just such a blast. There was so much energy created with the kids. We packed the place, they ran out of food. It was a lot of fun. So
what area do your students come from? I know we have Wheatsport, Aurora.
Mm-hmm. Tiny town called Spafford.
And Spafford, at least here. What's your geographic? Are they
all? Pretty much Cuba County.
Okay. Yep. And is there an age range?
We start usually in the 8th grade, 8 years old, 4th grade.
Okay.
It's kind of when we start kids in clubs. We do after school clubs, and we do camps, workshops at libraries. And
so I know these three are talented, but do you have to play an instrument to join Perform for Purpose?
Well, if you want to join and you don't have an instrument, we'll give you one.
Okay.
To start you with. And,
but what happens if you have no musical background?
Well, we have workshops and stuff where you can learn, and we're always sort of like a sports program. We're always kind of bringing in the younger kids and teaching them the basics of performance, and then as they progress on up, they can join the varsity team, which we have some of the varsity team here today.
So, by the way, what do you do for a profession?
I teach 5th grade at Millard Fillmore Elementary School.
Okay, in Moravia?
Yeah, in Moravia.
And
yes.
how long have you been doing that?
10 years I've been there.
Okay. So what is your role here, other than the back of your shirt says Mr. V? I see a performance and I see you playing instruments, I see you packing things up, I see you unloading, you're the utility player, but what is your role?
Well, they call me program director on the website, so
okay.
I guess that's the official title. But wherever's needed, if some instruction is needed, we talk a lot about how to perform, what the audience needs to see from us on stage. We learn about equipment. These guys can set up and break down a stage faster than anybody in Cuba County.
It's a very useful skill.
Very useful to have. We talk about projecting our love for music to the audience, and that's what we.
So we'll come back to a little bit about operations and all that. So I want to hear from the three of you. Mac, what do you play?
I play guitar on most of the songs that we'll be playing. Every now and then we might have someone they'll do like a little thing by themselves, and they'll play and they'll sing.
And you do vocals as well?
Every now and then.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
And where do you go to school?
I go to school at Tyburn Academy.
And Juliana, you're a vocalist?
Yes, and I play piano.
Play piano, okay. Yeah. And where do you go to school?
I homeschool.
And where are you from?
I'm from Aurora.
And you're in the 8th grade?
Yep, 8th grade.
Okay, so you're the youngest of the group, I think, as we keep going through. Jack, where do you go to school?
Tideman Academy.
And
Also.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 9th grade.
And I've seen you in different venues, so what is your instrument?
I play the drums.
Okay.
And various other percussion equipment.
Okay. So in doing all this, I guess let anyone start. How did you come about? How did you get connected to Perform for Purpose?
For me, it was, I think they needed more drummers. I think that's, and Mr. V got in touch with my drum instructor and asked, are there any drum students you'd like to send over? I was one of the picks, and my first show was back in 2014, the Big Six Picnic. And when we started out playing 3 songs, it's grown from then. And
so did you have to audition?
No audition.
Okay.
It's open to anybody, even if you don't play an instrument, you can come in, they'll give you an instrument, and if you do play an instrument, that's great. They'll put you on a song to play, and they'll get you comfortable with performing.
So Juliana, you're vocalist and you do piano. Did you have piano lessons before?
Yeah, I did have piano lessons before. When I was about 10, I started piano lessons with my instructor, Rachel Tissot, who does music at our church and that sort of thing. And I joined Perform for Purpose when my local library had a ukulele camp, and I joined it with my sisters, like I did the camp, and then Mr. V had me do like a few solo songs and play my piano, and then I just started going to all the concerts and playing, and that's kind of how I got started.
And have you done vocal lessons?
Well, Miss Rachel, my teacher, she kind of like takes piano and vocals and kind of like combines them into one lesson, sort of.
So Mac, did you start with the ukulele or did you go straight to the guitar?
So, a while back in 2013, I was about 2nd or 3rd grade. My school, we had a benefit there, so that was like from Perform for Purpose. That was like the first time I saw the guys, and at the time, the only instrument I played was the native flute, and so I joined up with the guys. I played like 2 or 3 concerts on the native flute.
He's quite good.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, and I will be the most ignorant person at the table, what's a native flute?
A Native American flute is kind of like, it's a big block of wood that's circular. It's got 6 holes in it, and it's got like a thingy up here, and you blow in it and it makes noise.
Okay.
That sounds kind of nice.
Okay.
So after that, I started playing guitar, and I started going to the shows and playing my guitar, and I've been doing it ever since.
And so how many, again, you had music lessons?
Yes.
You had music lessons? You didn't have any music lessons before you started?
Before I started, my dad taught me the flute, and so then I started taking lessons with Mr. V.
And so you became involved because you went to one of the camps, you said? And how often are the camps held, and where are they held?
We do them in the various libraries throughout the county in the summer most of the time.
Okay.
We've held them at Seymour, we've held them at Hazard Library, I believe was in Poplar Ridge, was where Juliana was. We had our first one outside Cuba County this past summer. We were at the Lansing Library. Okay. So we did our first non-Cuba County fundraiser. At the end of that, we always end with what we call a purpose event, which is often the kids come up with the ideas of who to raise money for. And down there we did the local food pantry in Lansing. So I guess we'll start with Mac. Why do you do this?
Well, I do this because I've been doing this for a while, and it's part of my life now. I play music and I help people, and I like helping people through the music because I get to entertain people that are coming to see us play, and I get to raise a lot of money for charity. And like last October, me and Jack, they told about the numbers, and we have raised $400,000 recently.
So we're going to talk about that because you got the 10K program, and I wanted to see how you get your math, but I'm thinking I can figure this out and say, Juliana, why do you do this?
Well, I think it's seriously the most fun thing I've ever done, getting to go out there and perform. And along the lines that Max said, it's really great to feel that like I'm having a really fun time, while knowing that I'm also like raising lots of money for people and I'm helping the community. So that's kind of why I do it.
And Jack?
Yeah, I really enjoy performing, and like they've said, being able to raise money for good causes all throughout Cuba County it's great to be doing something that you enjoy that also benefits the community. It's a really great experience.
So any idea how many concerts each of you have played? Did you guys keep a checklist? Any idea how many you've played?
I used to, but let's
Okay.
count.
now it's so do you? So you had I thought you had sent me a note that you'd done in the last 2 years, just 115 events. So that's roughly one a week, at least. Is that what you're roughly doing?
Yeah, we're out there about 9 months a year. We take some time off in the snow part of the world.
Okay.
We rehearse and we kind of retool for the following season. So we run March through the end of November. So we're out there quite a bit.
And do you have rehearsals? And how often do they?
Yes, all the time. We run rehearsals perpetually, regularly through different. The Saturday afternoons and Saturday mornings are often filled with those things. We're also
before you have a gig.
Yeah, before we have a gig, and as we go through the clubs and the workshops, we're all kind of working on the same songs, and it's kind of when we're with a different group of kids, we're trying to teach them what the other club is working on, so they can get together and do a concert. Quite often, the kids meet for the first time on stage and go, "Hello."
Well, I was going to ask that. So I've seen sometimes when you've been on the city stage, it looks like some of them are new, but in that you don't have to make all the practices to perform.
Right. We're a volunteer army. We say you sign
Okay.
up for what you can. We plug you in when you're ready. Like Jack said, I think his first show he just played 3 songs, and we'll have a drummer that's going to play her first show. She's 8. Was rehearsing
competition.
With me last night. Well,
so there's no. Go ahead.
It's not a competition.
Okay.
I keep it friendly.
Okay.
And the great thing is that this young lady's going to learn a lot from Jack, because he's going to be a mentor.
So there's no auditions at all for this?
Yeah. No, I don't call them auditions. We get together with kids and see where they're at, and play with them and invite them to our rehearsals and see where they're at, and then see where we can support.
So you've got piano, vocalists, you've got guitar, American native flute, and drums. Anything you're short on? What are you looking for?
Wow, that's a great question. We just started with horns a lot this year. We have sax players in the group. I guess we could use more horns. You could always use more horns to get more jazz going, right, Jack?
Yep. Horns.
So
Jack, I do know you. I know your dad, who works up here at the college. You also, and I know he's your roadie in part because he's carrying things around. You should say thank you to him every day.
Yes.
You also play in a different group. You have a trio. You played for Soma last week. There's the college's telecom department down at APT. Do all of you others play with separate groups, or is Perform for Purpose your main group?
Well, every now and then, Perform for Purpose will do like a little branch out. So a few months ago, I did me and one of the other members of Perform for Purpose, we did a thing where we played at a candlelight vigil for Heal, and we went there, we played a few songs, and they did other stuff there too.
So what type of music, for those who may not, I know you play some old rock, some classic rock. You play a lot of classic rock. What type of music do you play?
Well, we try to hit everyone's favorite genre. We play, Juliana plays some Patsy Cline. We do some Herbie Hancock and some bossa nova stuff that Jack likes.
Reggae too.
Reggae. We do the classics, the standards like Brown Eyed Girl and The Wanderer and all those songs that everyone still loves to hear. I think we've played Don't Stop Believin' more times than Journey did this year.
So who picks what you play? Is that you? Is it do you call yourselves performers, students? What do you call yourselves?
I
the
think,
group. All right.
I think
performers.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good, accurate term.
Yeah.
So who picks the music?
Well, everybody gets an input, and they can put forward songs. When it comes to a set list, though, Mr. V, he structures everything and gets into a set.
Every now and then, when Mr. V's not there at a gig, he'll have us make the set lists. So that's pretty fun too.
Yeah.
It is.
That's an interesting one.
So we see how many things can we squish into how many songs we can squish in there.
So how many? I know that when you were, I think, 2 weeks ago, you were at Art in the Park.
Yes.
You played for what, about 2 hours?
Played about 2 hours there, yeah.
How many songs will you get in 2 hours?
That's about 30 songs.
So you go in and you have a set list what they're going to be playing, and how of that 30 songs, how many have they all played together when you get to a stage like that?
It depends on the group, because we're a volunteer army. Parents can sign their performers up for 1 gig a month or all the gigs, and so I have a different group every time. I have a core that we can build around, but the set list will vary depending on which singers I have. Do I have a sax player that set? And so it's kind of a juggling act, and it's fun because we never played the same set twice.
And so, is there any music you stay away from?
I don't think that's in our
stuff
DNA.
That's beyond our limits.
I don't know what is beyond your limits, because I've heard you all play.
There's not much, but there is
heavy
some.
metal.
Heavy metal.
That's
we haven't
the
done
only
that
thing
yet.
we haven't done.
So just going down, I'll start with Juliana. Do you have a favorite song that you love singing when you're out there?
Well, I seriously love singing like everything that we do. I mean, I've been playing Fight Song and Walking After Midnight a lot. I kind of like doing that. Everything, really. So.
Mac?
Song I like most playing on guitar, it's got to be either Come Together or Europa.
So Come Together, the Beatles?
Yeah.
Okay. And jack of all trades, literally, because I see you out there. What do you like playing?
This is like probably one of the hardest questions I've had to answer. It's whenever anyone asks me that, I really enjoy playing the jazz tunes. I also really enjoy playing Don't Stop Believing. That's one of my favorite.
So is that the signature song for Perform for Purpose?
That's it.
Yeah, what would be our signature song? I think that's
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me.
Stand By
That's
Me.
usually at every show.
They'll be like, we'll probably have Brown Eyed Girl at almost all of them. Probably Don't Stop Believing. There's a lot of them that we usually do.
So do you have any students who compose?
Yes, that is something that we encourage and have really gotten and started into this year at the camps and stuff. In fact, we're performing in a couple weeks here at our gala, and Juliana is going to perform a song that she wrote recently. And we have 2 or 3 different.
So you play things that students will come up with?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. We at our camp we encourage that we have songwriting sessions where they learn the basics. They take a song they know and like, and we decompose it and see how it's created, and then come up with our own ideas and write our own lyrics. And we're headed to the recording studio here in the next few years to do some.
So, and we'll talk about records in a second.
Yeah.
So, do you all read music?
No.
No.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Well, I asked this because I listened to an interview with Sir Paul McCartney the other day, and he said he didn't read any music. And I was shocked, as most likely somebody who's over 5 decades has had more albums than most, doesn't read a line of music. So I think it was one of the, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but there was an award given out at Tomato Fest named after Bob Brower,
Yes.
who was a very big supporter of Perform for Purpose. That was to one of your students, wasn't it?
Yes, it was to Luke Mock, and that was the first annual Perform for Purpose Songwriting Award. And Luke has been one of our performers for several years now, and has been one of our writing. In fact, he's in the studio recording his own CD right now. And Bob, of course, was just a tremendous supporter of us and many other great things in the community. And he actually talked to me a lot prior to his passing about his songwriting method. And we had a great conversation about it. And so we were kind of passing that on in our curriculum, so to speak, the Bob Brower method of keeping a notebook and writing down song titles. And so
I guess some financial questions. Who underwrites you? Do you have supporters?
We do.
Where do you get your money?
We have a Major Palooza supports us every year. Our arts grants just gave us a grant to build a stage. We built a portable stage that the kids have been able to perform on. Hugo Community Fund, Finger Lakes Community Arts. Nucor is awesome. They give a lot to the community. They've given us, and several times they've given us money to buy instruments with and to put on our workshops.
And if somebody wants to donate to you, you're a not-for-profit?
Yes, we're a 501c. You can go right to our website, performforpurpose.org. And
can you donate online?
Yes.
You can, okay. And do people donate instruments? I was surprised. Did you say you gave out 65
yes.
instruments last year?
Yes, I have people dropping them off to me all the time, and amps that are sitting around that maybe they used 15 years ago they don't use anymore, little practice amps. So we're always looking to put an instrument in some of youth's hands that we can, get that spark going. We start a lot of the kids out on the ukulele, and because it's accessible, it's simple to learn the shapes, and as soon as they get a certain point, we put a guitar in their hand because they're learning the same shapes, you know, and then we just build it from there.
I know you started on the ukulele?
Drums.
Drums.
Yeah.
Ukulele?
No, I started on the piano. I can play a lot of ukulele now, but it's kind of funny. I started on piano and now I play ukulele. It's like opposite.
I asked that, were you ever ukulele?
No.
No, I only asked that because I know in a lot of the performances on stage there's at least 2 ukuleles somewhere up there. So you play a lot of, I mentioned some of the venues, Tomato Fest, Major Palooza, Art in the Park. You were down at, I think, the Double Days, most games, if I remember correctly. How do you pick venues?
Well, they pick us a lot of times. One of the things that's been very nice about our program recently is because we've been recognized in the community that people seek us out for their event, which has been nice.
So do they pay you?
They can make a donation. We don't charge.
Okay.
If somebody wants to make a donation to us, if it's in the budget, fine. And we get all our money for our instruments and stuff through our fundraising gala that we do once a year.
So I'll come back to the community service, but let's talk about it because I want to get that in a couple times. So you have an event this weekend. This will play tonight, but the event will be over in the second play. But for next week, it'll be on several times. You have Healing Hearts on Saturday. What is that?
That is an organization that works with folks, veterans, and folks with developmental disabilities, and they work with animals, specifically horses, and they do different programs with them.
And where is that?
That is in Union Springs.
Okay.
Am I going to forget the address?
It's okay,
I'm sorry.
but you can find out more about that.
They're the healinghearts.com is their website.
Is there an admission for that? Or?
No, they're having a barbecue, so you can go there and purchase some fine barbecue, I'm sure.
Okay.
We'll be,
but your big event for Perform for Purpose that you are trying to raise money for your own operations is next Friday the 12th.
Friday the 12th.
And that is where?
At the Springside Inn.
And what are you doing there?
Well, it's a celebration of the kids' community service, and it's a chance for us to kind of all get as many kids together. We have over 45 kids going to participate and perform that day. It's a lot of times, it's their first time, which is kind of exciting.
So what time is it from?
It's from 6:30, and
I notice you guys are clearly musicians. You have no end time.
we try to be, we'll try to be done by 10, I think. But,
so what's the program?
Well, the program is going to be start out with some solo acts and duos. It's going to be some original music in that set. And in the middle of the program, we're going to honor the kids for the community service with the K Club Awards. And then we're going to close it out. This is the fun part. After the kids, we do a Parents for Purpose set, which are some of the parents that do a lot of the roadie work.
It's always a treat.
And we get up and do a small set too. So
are you at least gentle with your parents to say you critique them a little bit nicer than they critique you? Yes. Okay. So is there a cost to attend that?
It's a great meal at the delicious food from Springside Inn, and it's a $45 ticket.
Do you need to buy those tickets beforehand?
Yes, and you can buy them right on our website.
And there are still some tickets available?
There's about 30 seats available.
So they're going?
Yeah.
So, okay. I want to come back. You mentioned, one of you mentioned the $400,000, but you have something that started as the 10K Club. So I'm assuming this is, you find a not-for-profit, and if they raise 10K, what happens? $10,000, what happens?
Yeah, what we do is we track how much the events that the kids perform at raises in a particular community. And then we kind of have a spreadsheet that does say every gig we've played, so if you ever want to know that. And we track that amount, and when the kids have helped raise $10,000, they get inducted into the 10K Club.
So I'm assuming that, let's see, Mac and Jack are both now, I hope I'm not spoiling this because you'll announce it next week at your event, but you're at the $500,000. You guys have done 500, and you've been a little bit shorter in the
Yeah, I just started last year.
And you're at 200.
Wow.
So, by the way, congratulations. It's one thing to have you on about the music, but one of the other things that many people have said is the community component here. Do all of you have at your schools, and I know it would be different for homeschooling, but do you have public service requirements at Tyburn?
Yes,
Yes.
we do have.
So does this go towards that if you want to? You guys have far surpassed that.
Yeah, we
Yes.
You check that box?
yeah we
Yeah, I was.
every now they have a 20-hour thing that we have to do, and last year me and Jack both we gave them all the numbers that we did, and we both got recognized for doing so much community service. It's a lot.
Yeah, I usually get my hours done over the summer. That's how many shows we're doing, and it's you know, it's
So for next, are all three of you performing at the gala?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're playing, or haven't you decided yet?
I'll be drumming. Song-wise, I think we have the band set up this year again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's they usually split us up into different groups. So with so many
Okay.
people, you know, it's easier to work it out like this. And
Yeah.
also be bringing the trio there too.
You will be playing. Okay. And what?
short
what,
set.
what are you playing? Are you obviously have vocals? So
Yep. I'm going to be playing my piano. I'm going to be actually singing and performing my original song. I'm really excited because this year I'm in a band with some of the newer members, so I can kind of help them along and get to like play with them, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to do fight song like I normally do and all those sort of fun things.
All right.
So yeah.
And do you have anything that you've picked out? That,
So I'm a play and I'm gonna sing "Watching the Wheels," and then one of the most fun things about the gala is at the end at the very last songs we try to squish as many people on stage as possible.
I think you try to squish as many people on stage anytime you're in there.
Yeah, then we
There's many
Yeah.
people
at the
playing
end
as
we
possible.
squish everybody on stage.
Yeah, like everybody, like all 45 kids.
We're like 3 Southern rock bands combined.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
So 10 years ago, you did this with your children were in middle school.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're all out of school now?
Yes. My daughter Jennifer, who's president of Perform for Purposes, works as a school counselor at Casey Park now.
Okay. So
And,
this is a family thing.
Yeah, and my daughter Nicole was a performer and has since moved to Pittsburgh and lives there, but she played at the gala in past years. And
So you figure
yeah.
you're doing this for years to come.
Yes, we're planning on it being
How can people find more out about Perform for Purpose?
Go to our website. There's a lot of information you can click if you were interested in being a club leader, a performer, or just want to find out more about the programs. There's all kinds of links.
And when you go on site or online, is it Perform with a number 4
Yes.
or okay? So
Yes.
if you do that,
.org.
all right.
Yep.
Well, we wish you luck next week. We'd love to have you back on. We'll try to do a musical snippet.
Yeah, that'll
We
be
had some
fun.
technical issues there, but we do want to thank James Vanarsdale, who is the
Program director.
program director, but the founder of Perform for Purpose, and 3 of their performers, Mac Ciras, Juliana GRANTZ, as well as Jack Zizza. By the way, congratulations on all the work you do,
Thank you.
not only for the music, but also for the community service. That is really, really cool. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And we'd love to have you back in the studio again. All right? So we will be back next week, but we're changing a little bit on our programming. We start our candidates forums next Tuesday. We'll have the race to replace Bob Oakes in the New York State Assembly with Democrat Scott Comegee as well as Republican Brian Matlow. They will be here on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we'll have a forum for the 51st Senate District. That's incumbent Jim Seward and his challenger Joyce St. George. We have other forums planned for the rest of the month. At this stage, we do have Ms. Balter, who is running for Congress, who will be in the studio. We have not heard from Mr. Katko, and we hope he will be here. If he is not, Ms. Balter will get the time. That happens with all candidates who we send invitations to. We'll return in November with our regular Inside Government Beyond the Front Page shows. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cuyahoga Community College. We want to thank you for watching. We hope you have a good night, have a great tomorrow, and go to the gala next Friday night on the 12th. So we cover everything that